It was a cold, quiet night on the outskirts of Paris. The kind of night where the air feels heavy and every shadow looks like it's watching you. Saint Delacroix Hospital stood there, old, half-abandoned, its windows cracked, its corridors whispering secrets no one dared to hear. And deep inside that hospital was the morgue, where a man named Marcel Raab had spent most of his life surrounded by the dead. 20 years on the job, 20 years of silence, cold metal, and still faces. To Marcel, death was just another shift, another night. People said the place was haunted. They said the souls of the unclaimed still wandered the halls. Marcel just laughed. Ghosts are for poets and drunks, he'd say. Ideal in science, not superstition. But that night, that one night, science didn't have an answer. Around 8 o'clock, Marcel was standing outside, cigarette glowing between his fingers, when his phone rang. It was Dr. Sauvant, the senior pathologist, his tone oddly nervous. Dr. Sauvant, Marcel, I'm assigning you a new assistant tonight. The boy's name is David. Be patient with him. He's different. Marcel chuckled. Different? Everyone who comes here leaves different, doctor. There was a pause. Then, softly, Dr. Sauvant, Marcel, have you ever seen something here you couldn't explain? Marcel exhaled smoke into the cold air. I see dead people every night, doctor. Isn't that enough? And the call ended. Inside, the morgue lights flickered weakly, like they were breathing. The smell of disinfectant mixed with something older, heavier. On the table, a covered body. Male, mid-20s, face completely crushed. The new assistant, David, stood near the door. Young, pale, trembling slightly as he pulled on gloves. Marcel gave him a nod. You must be David. If you're scared, now's the time to leave. This place doesn't like the weak. David didn't move. He just stared at the body, then whispered. Almost to himself. He wasn't murdered. Truck accident. See the fractures? He tried to run. Marcel raised an eyebrow. Not bad for a rookie. They began the autopsy. The sound of the saw echoed like a scream, swallowed by walls. David didn't flinch once, not even when Marcel opened the chest cavity. Then, quietly, David said, when we do this, the souls watch us. They stand right here, confused, wondering why someone is cutting them open. Marcel laughed. Souls? Come on. Boy, you're in France, not a ghost story. There's only flesh, bone, and rot. David didn't reply. He just murmured, You don't have to believe, Monsieur Raab. They believe in you. Hours passed. The room grew colder, much colder. Marcel noticed his breath turning white in the air. The vents weren't running. Then he saw it, another covered body on a nearby table. He frowned. He hadn't brought in another case. The tag was half torn, but the name was clear enough. Marcel Raab. His blood froze. What kind of joke is this? He snapped. He turned toward David. Is this your idea of fun? But David didn't move. He just stared at the table. Marcel pulled the sheet back, and his world shattered. It was him, his own face, lifeless, skin pale, eyes open, empty. He stumbled back. No, this can't be. David finally spoke, calm, steady, almost sad. You shouldn't have laughed, Monsieur Raab. Not everyone gets to mock death and walk away. The lights flickered wildly. The air filled with whispers, dozens of them, crying, pleading, sighing. Marcel covered his ears, but they weren't outside. They were inside his head. He screamed, but no sound came out. He looked at his hands. They were turning translucent. The scalpel dropped through his fingers, clattering on the floor beside his own corpse. David looked at him, directly through him. You said ghosts don't exist, Marcel. But tell me, what are you now? Marcel tried to speak, but all that came was a breath. He turned to the mirror on the wall and saw nothing. No reflection, no man, just the room. Moments later, the door burst open. Dr. Salvin rushed in with 2 attendants. They froze when they saw Marcel's body on the floor. Heart attack, one whispered. He must have collapsed during the autopsy. He still does, in a way. Dr. Salvin frowned. What do you mean? David's eyes drifted toward the cold steel table. The breeze slipped through a cracked window, making the lights flicker again. Let's just say, he's not done with his shift yet. Dr. Salvin turned, but Marcel's body wasn't there anymore. Only the sheet. Only the smell of smoke and disinfectant. David whispered, barely audible. Ghosts don't exist, right, Monsieur Rabe? And from deep inside the morgue, a voice, distant, tired, almost human, whispered back, right. Music rises, eerie violin and whispering wind blend together. The door creaked shut on its own. The lights dimmed, and Saint Delacroix fell silent again. If you're still watching, tell me, do you believe in ghosts? Or do you think death is the final silence? Because some nights, silence is just where the whisper begins.